All right, so this is your Unit 5 review for my advanced class. There's going to be 17 questions on the test, so it's going to be a little bit longer, but a lot of these questions don't take that long. And I know the review only has 11 questions, but because some of these are very similar to each other. Number 1, a package of 25 pencils costs $3.25. At this rate, what's the cost of one pencil? So I know at $3.25, it costs 25 pencils. So all I have to do is divide it. So divide 25 into 3.25. So 3.25 divided by 25 is 13 cents. So it would be 13 cents. So Miss APAC increased the amount of tahine she eats every day from 16 grams to 23 grams. But by what percentage did Miss APAC increase the amount of tahine she eats? So since you're trying to figure out the amount of increase, you have to figure out the original, you have to figure out the amount it changed. So you do 23. My pad's just, Wi-Fi's not good today. So 23 minus 16, which is 7. So that's the amount of difference. So 7 goes on top over the original amount of 16. And since you're trying to find a percentage, you set it equal to x over 100. And you cross multiply. So you get 16x equals 700. And then you divide by 16. And you get 43.75%. So she increased her intake by 43%, but about 44%. Number 3, the price of a Nintendo Switch was reduced from $399 to $299. By what percentage was the price of a Nintendo Switch? So same idea. You have to find the amount changed. So the amount change between these is 100. So the amount change is 100 over the original amount, which is $399. Excuse me. And you set it equal to x over 100. So you cross multiply, and you get 399x is equal to 10,000. So then you're going to do 10,000 divided by 399, and you get 25.6%. Now, those weren't really hard, but a lot of you might have forgotten how to do it. So it's just good that we have 2 of those to practice. Number 4, the table below shows a portion of the planned budget for the Russell family. Their monthly income is $7,200. Find the percentage of income used for housing expenses. So this is their total. 7,200 is their total. So 7,200 goes on the bottom. And since you're trying to find the percentage for housing expenses, you take their housing expenses, which is 2,500, and you write that on top. And then you set it equal to x over 100% to find the percentage. So you would have x times 7,200 is 7,200x. And then 2,500 times 100 is 250,000. I believe, if I could write this down. Yep, 250,000. So you're going to take 250,000 and you're going to divide it by 7,200. When you do that, you get 34.72 repeating percent. Man, this is my pad. So you get 34.72 repeating percent. And again, it's been a long time since we did those, so it's not the fact that you didn't know how to do it, just my fact you forgot how. All right, number 5. Dominic ran 4 kilometers. 1 mile is approximately equal to 1.6 kilometers. What measurement is closest to the number of miles Dominic ran? So it says right here, 1 mile for every 1.6 kilometers. So I'm going to write that down. So you write 1 mile over 1.6 kilometers. Then you would say equal to x over 4 kilometers. And that's the reason why you label your numbers. So now we just got to cross multiply. So you get 1.6x is equal to 4. So you divide by 1.6 to both sides. And 4 divided by 1.6 is 2.5. So he ran 2.5 miles. All right, number 6. Which table shows a proportional relationship? Now, I imagine this one will be a really quick and easy one because we know when a proportional relationship is when x is 0, y has to be 0 as well. So F is the only correct one because this is your x and that's your y, and these are the only ones at 0. Everything else has a plus b. Number 7, which table shows a non-proportional relationship? Well, another way you can check to see if it's proportional or not is you can create ratios and divide them. So what I mean by ratios, you create y over x. So y over x would be 8 over 4, which equals 2. Then the next one would be 13 over 6, which I can tell you right now does not equal 2. Instead, equals 2.11 or 166 repeating. So this one is not proportional because the ratios would have to be exactly the same. But let me check the other ones just to make sure I didn't make a mistake. So this one would be 9 over 3, which is 3. 18 over 6, which is 3. 27 over 9, which is 3. C would be 6 over 2, which is 3. 9 over 3 is 3. 12 over 4 is 3. Apparently, I'm on a binge for 3s. Next one would be 10 over 2, which is 5. 21 over 4, which is 5. And then 30 over 6, which is 5. So good. So it means A is the only one that's non-proportional because the ratios do not equal each other. Number 8. A Tesla traveled 381 miles and used 3 kilowatts. If the same car traveled 2,286 miles at that same rate, how many kilowatts of electricity would be used? So I'm going to write a ratio. So it says 381 miles for 3 kilowatts. They're traveling 2,286 miles over x. Now, you don't actually have to do it the way I'm doing this. If you divided the 381 and worked from there, that's fine. It would actually be the same type of idea here. So you're going to do 2,286 times 3, which is 6,858. And then 381 times x is just 381x. So then you divide that to both sides, which is 18. So it only used 18 kilowatts of electricity. I think that's pretty cool. All right, a couple more. Number 9, which of these does not represent a function? So remember, a function is when the input, x, only has different numbers. They cannot repeat. The y, the output, could repeat numbers, okay? So we're trying to figure out which one is not a function. So f is, I like to look at my x's first. That's -2, -1, 0, 1. Good. None of those repeat, so we're good on that. So that's not, that is a function. So this is not the right answer. So g is a function, even though their output has 2 4s in it, because -1 goes to 4, 1 goes to 4. That's perfectly fine because these numbers do not repeat. So that's not correct as well. H is not correct because none of these numbers repeat. J is the correct number. And as I like to say, it's called the vertical line test. And if you draw a vertical line through the graph and it touches at 2 points, then it's not a function. Because that means that those two points are sharing the same x. They're sharing the same input. Okay? 10. Which of the following represents a non-proportional relationship? So just a reminder, you have y is equal to mx plus b. If the b does not equal 0, then it's non-proportional. So we need to figure out which one of these situations has a plus something. So F, Mark gets $50 a week for his allowance. In 6 weeks, he has $300. Well, that's just y is equal to 6x. Not 6x, excuse me. Well, that'd be y is equal to 6x, or 6 times 50, which is 300. So, wrong. Joyce works on a commission. She makes $80 a week plus a percentage of her totals. Well, there's that word plus. We have to pay attention to that. So we're not going to mark that off just yet. H. Sasha worked at Luigi as a hostess. She makes $10 an hour. She worked 4 hours on Saturday and made $40. Well, that's pretty proportional. Leo sells $1 candy bars. He sold 20 candy bars and made $20. That's proportional as well. There's no starting point. This is the only one that's being added. 11, and I believe this is your last one. What is the x value of the solution for the system equations? And luckily, we actually did one like this today in your trash ball. So what you have to do is you take it and you plug it into your calculator and you graph it, and you hit second trace, intersect, and when you intersect, you get x equals -2 and y equals 0. But the only answer they want is x equals -2. And that's it. Now, there won't be, I didn't cover everything on it because you're on my advanced class, but you'll do just fine. Thank you, guys.